Right, I have a confession to make. So it might be a week later and I may or may not have ordered the wrong part. You see, on every website that I looked at for my car, right? And it was for the specific engine, put the engine code in. Even the dealer, right, wanted to give me a thermostat like this, right? This is what they wanted to give me. However, it's not the one I need. This is the type of thermostat I need, right? Great. And this one came with a gasket as well, so I bought a separate gasket for no reason as well. Fucking amazing. It was quite weird. Like literally I went into a parts store because I got this from a parts store because I couldn't be arsed to order it because it would have taken like a week or so. And I didn't have the patience. But even there, they were like, are you sure? Like, have you looked in there? And I was like, yes, I've seen it with my own two eyes. So yeah. Basically I ended the video where I kind of realized that it's the wrong thermostat that I ordered. Basically just put everything back together, flush the coolant, which I did at the start before, you know, discovering what I did or what I didn't order, and just filled it back up because I wanted to flush it and then put a new set in like a week later of doing it last week. But obviously that didn't come true. So this is going to be the second time I'm going to be putting new coolant in because I don't know when it was flushed or if it was even flushed. So, and like what came out was green and it's supposed to be purple or pink, preferably pink. Now, for most Volkswagens, you should be using G12 or G12 Plus coolant. You can check it, there are many websites, you can check it out, try to find the one that I use to discover what I need. It's not engine specific, it's year specific, funny enough. But there are different specs, and usually if you can find G12 Plus of the spec you need, you're good. If you use G12, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. G12 Plus is just a bit more modern, same spec. I don't know if you can see this, but this is what I've used. And I've used a 2-to-1 ratio, so whatever I got a ½ liter bottle, cut the top, and I use this for measurement. So I put one in, one of this in, and then 2 of just filtered water. Also, I didn't have distilled water, so that's another reason why I wanted to redo, like put new coolant in, flush it again, and just get it out of the way. Now I have distilled water, and that's what you should put, preferably for long term. And you should flush your coolant every 5-ish years. So yeah. Also in the process, this has arrived. Seat or Volkswagen calls this an oil separator, but it's basically an oil breather. But this is what's cracked on my car, and that's why there's a huge oil puddle under my car constantly. There will be a part 2 to this video. I'm just going to do the thermostat for now. But it's probably going to be on the same day, so yeah, I'm probably going to look the same. Let's get started. Let's start flushing the new-ish coolant out, and let's take apart everything else that I need to do. Let's take out the thermostat and put in a new one. Also, I upgraded my towel from this old, like, cushy blanket that my dog used to use, or still uses, for when she's in the car. So I guess that's a bonus. It's smaller, but it's more comfortable, and I can kneel on that without being in pain. So that's great. Right, let's get started. Now, since I've done the video, I have ordered a vice set, 3 vices, because the way I couldn't get one of the clamps back up and fastened because the plier that I used was good enough for when the clamps were on the tubes, because the tube is, you know, it's going to make the 2 little bits that you have to push together to release the clamp. The space between them will be smaller, but when they were fully extended, because they weren't on a pipe properly, I didn't have a plier big enough or that had a wide enough reach to get them. So basically what happened that day, I had to call my friend to get me a vice grip or a plier or whatever, and he basically cycled to my house. I was so thankful for him. Actually, like a shout out to him. All right, it's all done. I just need to take that out. I will say this thicker kind of blanket is definitely a lot more comfortable to be on because it's thicker. Real car guy style. Fucking zip ties to hold the undercarriage of it on, or this stupid cover. But can't be arsed to find proper screws for it. Right, that's done. It was easy. let's get the pan. But first, obviously, we need some gloves, so we can't get our hands dirty. After I've used all of these gloves, I want to get like proper, not these reusable ones, but they're proper fabric ones with like protection and whatnot. Because these are quite shit. They're kind of cheap. I mean, they were £17, but they're shit. They break easily. The last time, didn't even do much. I broke 3 of them. And by the 3rd one, I just couldn't care less if I actually had one on or not. It was like, it got really annoying. It really did get annoying. So, let's quickly take off the clamp. I'm gonna be spoiling myself with this thick blanket. It's so nice. Right, let's quickly get this off. Like this. Kind of get it off. There we go. Yeah, perfect. Right, and now let's wiggle this pipe off. And this time, I'll be able to see where it goes. All I'm gonna say is thank God I'm redoing this again, because there was still lots of green coming out, which is not supposed to be there. That can cause cross-contamination, especially if your car needs a specific type of coolant. Now, it doesn't matter that much for this car, but still, it's not good. It's definitely not a good thing. While this is dripping out, let me just quickly do stuff at the top. And at this point, we can just leave that dripping until we actually will be filling the whole system up again. So let's continue. I really need to get a magnetic bolt. In all fairness, by the time this video is coming out, I'm planning on getting a tent to like, which I can have as my like personal workspace. So I'll be able to have all my tools out and not having to carry it into the house constantly. And from the site I'm ordering stuff off of, for that, I think I'm also buying, or I think I'm also gonna buy like a magnetic screw bowl, because the frame will be metal as well. And I think you can put the actual, it's one of those 2-sided magnets. So basically there's just a huge magnet on the bottom of it, so it acts through the actual like little bowl, and you can put it on metal stuff, which can be very useful. So yeah, there we go. Also, getting to the thermostat was a very annoying experience. The thing is, right, I don't know if you can see it, but this springy thing, that's the clutch linkage, and it's all like solid metal, and it's not like I can, you know, move it out of the way. So yeah, that was annoying. And I think it's an 8mm, if I'm remember correctly, and it is. Now, one thing, the top bolt is fine, but when you get to the bottom bolt, which is directly horizontal to the actual linkage, yeah, it's not very easy to get to it, per se. Also, I need to move this. Is it still dripping? Still kind of is. A good tip for getting excess coolant out of pipes, squeeze them, because it will just, well, you make literally a manual pump with your hands when you start squeezing it. So yeah, but I think I'm just gonna put the pipe back so that it stops dripping, because it's annoying. There's still yellow stuff coming out. I don't know who put yellow colored coolant in it, and that's definitely not G12 or G12 plus coolant. And now I think I'm gonna tighten the bottom clamp just so that I don't forget. Yeah, I'm just gonna do that. Actually, no. Actually, I'm gonna do that later. I'm just gonna put the hose back on so that it stops dripping. Come on. There we go. Yes, screw number 2 is out. Right, let's pull this apart. Coolant is gonna go everywhere. There we go. Right, where's it gonna come out? Ha! And this time I've caught most of it. Yeah, cheeky little, oh god. That's a lot of coolant. Ha! I'm still catching most of it. Get fucked. Right. Yeah, exactly what I ordered. Okay, good. Actually, this is the thing I've bought, which kind of goes like just over this. It's exactly the gasket I bought, which I thought I will never use. Apparently I will. This is the old gasket. It doesn't look gunked up. but it definitely opens up too early, especially on cold days. I can literally be sitting still, like idling, and I could see the temperature gauge just kind of hitting 70 and then immediately going back down to like 65, hitting 70, immediately going back down to 65. So that's definitely a sign that your thermostat is gone, and it's 13 years old. This car's from 2007. It's about time this actually goes. I mean, I didn't wish it go, but you relatively see thermostat going like 12 or 13 years. I don't know if you can see the thickness difference between the two. This is the old one, and this is the new one. I don't know if you can tell how this is a lot skinnier than this. So it's definitely time to change it. However, I got a gasket that goes over like this. It goes over the edge. So I'll see if it fits in. And if it does fit in, I think I'm just gonna leave it like this. Actually, no, it's not supposed to be like that. It's definitely not. The housing doesn't go over it. No, this isn't the one. I don't know. This is quite confusing at this point. I've given up on trying to find logical explanations. So yeah, let me just try to fit this in. It was like over. The old gasket was like over this. So, I don't know. But this is turning out to be a very weird experience. I think I'm just gonna leave it like this and put it in the way it was before I touched it. Yep. Yeah, that should be good. Now, make sure that whenever you do this, don't tighten just one side and then fully tighten the other. Make sure that you tighten it gradually. Tighten it like halfway till it starts to get, you know, till you start to feel a bit of tension. And then kind of work your way from side to side. Do like two, this two, I don't know. Do like one full, like turn, so I guess 2 or 3, like, I don't know how long you'll be able to do it, but you do like one full turn on each side until it's decently tight on both ends. Okay, that's decently tight. So let's switch. Okay, yeah, it's fairly tight on both ends. So I think that should do it. Perfect. I'm not gonna put the airbox back because I'm literally gonna film me doing the other video, so I just can't be arsed to put it back up because I have to take the airbox off for the other thing. And one more time, let me remove this tube, just in case there's some more stuff collected at the bottom. Yeah, there were still some. All right, let me get this pipe back on. So let's just put the clamp back. There we go. That isn't coming off anytime soon. And now we can start topping off the fluids. Now, one thing when you're doing it first, before you start the engine at all, what you need to do is you start blowing it in, and then after a while it just won't go in further. So what you're gonna do is, well, it's a very good way to do it. Start squeezing the pipes until it doesn't really help. And then, after that, just start the engine, just leave it running. It will kind of circulate and bubbles will come out, and then rev it a couple of times, more bubbles will come out, and then drive it. Basically, at first drive some very little, stop, pull over, and then see it will go down significantly. And you can always fill it up a bit more than, you know, what the minimum says. Don't fill it up like, you know, don't be stupid. Don't fill it up to like very top, but like fill it up to like 2/3 of the way, because it will go down. And eventually after a while, like a good 2 or 3 times of repeating that, don't really go above halfway, because it still will go down, but just, I guess, check it after a while. So, but 2-3 times pull over, just drive for like a good half an hour, just drive. Make sure to rev the car to like at least 60 to 70-ish% of its rev range, just so that everything will circulate properly. And then just check on it for the next 2 to 3 days, and then just top it up. Just make sure to keep count of what you put in, and make sure to keep the concentrate level, you know, what it should be. You can buy these little tools where you just suck up some fluid from here, and it will tell you what the concentrate is. It basically tells you at what temperature it will freeze. I have a friend of mine who works on cars, and he's a great friend. He's helped me so many times with some of these videos as well, as far as knowledge goes, because he's been working on cars, and mostly Volkswagens, for a long time. But basically, I went to him and he has this little tool. It's quite fun. It's quite you don't really have to have it as long as you keep a rough estimate of, you know, what the concentrate level is. On the back here, this is what I want, minus 36 degrees, and it's basically 1-to-1. Whatever amount you put in from this stuff, you have to put in from water. Basically, that's it. The last time I did a 2-to-1, basically. I mean, it says put 2 and then put 3, minus 25. It will be minus 24. I basically had it spot on the first time I did it. I think because I went over to him, just like, you know, tell him about my stories with this, you know, getting thermostat for my car. Basically, it was on minus 25 degrees, so I got it spot on. But that's basically it. And that's how you do your thermostat in your car. Now, make sure to research your car. You might see some videos on it. Mine didn't really have much information because mine is just quite a common car, so there isn't many stuff, or there isn't much stuff on it. But make sure to research your car, do lots of research on it as to what it needs, where the stuff is, and what coolant it needs. That's one of the most important ones. Thermostat and what coolant it needs. The rest is literally just plug and play, so it's all good. So, thank you all for watching and have a good one. Models popping bottles.